Okay, see it's green. It means electricity is not getting there. If I flip the switch on, up is the position for on. And we'll go double check it. Welcome back. Now I'm out here in the what I call the dirty part of the shop. It's where sanding and cutting and bending and welding and storage and just a little bit of everything go on. You're all dirty. I gotta, let me help you out here. Does that feel better? How about this? Good, looks better. Anyway, have you ever started a project and it kind of grows? That's what's happened to me on this, making the back plate for this chuck I want to make. I'm out here with my trusty old jet horizontal bandsaw. You could do it vertical, but it really sucks because it has a small table. And I've been deciding on whether getting it up on my big vertical saw with the hydraulic table. Well, it doesn't have cooling up there. It could, but it'd be a mess. It's got a pump and all that, but I've never filled it up because, frankly, I put coolant in something and the water evaporates till the next time. Well, this saw has been my main go-to for 10, 12 years now. And it'll cut that back plate off, but I can't hold it. Now, I could have solved all of my problems by just making that back plate out of that hunk of steel there. Except in my condition, I can't pick that up and get it up there. Probably hurt something else. So I used the smaller piece of the material, and there's what it looks like right now. Now that's got this outer diameter and the diameter and height on that boss there. And what I did was I put a parting tool on the machine, on Bob, and scored all the way around that. To give me an easier chance of lining it up as close as I needed to. I've left myself plenty of meat on it so I can face it off and it won't look like I did it in Pakistan. Man, those guys, they do a lot of turning and making things and make do with what they have. So I'm kind of taking after them. So the problem was, how the hell do you hold that on there and get it lined up so this saw goes through here? Well, that's what I came up with. This piece has been welded to the back of that, and that's what I cut it with on Bob, because I couldn't get to the outside diameter and clean it up, so I put a pipe on it. Now I got to cut it off, and this is what I've come up with to be able to cut it and hang it out there. Now this is just fixed up so I can weld it. I'm going to weld it across here and then down in here, and this piece is held by the vise. So we're depending on this piece being vise pressure and then this piece being weld to keep it from going anywhere. I think I got it straight enough right now. I kind of messed with it last night and all day. And things grow, you know. I got out here and I'm thinking, how long's it been since the coolant's been changed in here? Now this has got a coolant tank with a pump underneath there. And everything drains down into that tank. It's got a filter over there that it first goes through. And then there's a strainer filler before it gets into the top of that tank there. So I took it all out and cleaned it. Then I took and cleaned this thing as better as possible, as well as I could. I always wanted to take it outside and put the pressure washer on it, but I can't handle that either right now. So, and when I did, I noticed some of the paint's coming off in the trough. Now, it's not bad rusted, it's just, that's the way it's been, and it had so many chips under there I couldn't see it for years. So, need to figure out what I'm going to do to fix that, but right now I'm trying to cut that piece off. Let's get to it. I'll set you guys up here where you can kind of see a little bit of everything. I'm going over here. I've been progressing. Last week I graduated from occupational therapy, and this week, coming up, I've got one more evaluation with outpatient therapy. What I'm trying to do over here, I guess you guys can't see that. Trying just to work my way over to the tools there and get the welder out. But like I said, I did a lot of vacuuming. Kind of shoved this out of the way a little bit. Too many things in my way right now. You know, I need to get rid of that. Put you back in the air-conditioned area. I have to plan your movements when you're in one of these things. Push this back in where the Beast and Bob live. I'll be back. Turn you on. This thing seems to take 10 times longer than it did before. And we'll shut Bob's door. Welder, that's what I was hooking up. That's a grinder. Move the welding rotator out of here for a minute. In fact, I'm just going to move it around out of the way. Put wheels on everything you own. Makes it a lot easier for everything. Now, you guys don't need to go over there. I don't know if this grounding rod or grounding cable will go that far. I'd have to move the welder over. But I was hoping I could just reach this. I can, yay. Here's the gun. I got a 15-foot cord on it. And we'll just hook this up right there. That'll work. Let me get a few more things situated here. Love my little rotator. One thing I didn't notice very much before was having to keep the floor clean because you get your hands dirty using one of these things. Okay. Before I forget it, I need to look and see if this is aligned as well as I can do it. I'll let you guys look too. Well, we got thunder coming. What I'm doing is I'm looking down and using the side of this blade as a kind of way to get me in the plane. And I use that little cutoff that I did to line up. So if you look here at it, it's pretty close. With this Beverly Hillbilly style fixture, I guess that's going to be as good as I can get it, but that's okay. I remember when I was a freshman in high school and I took woodworking, wood shop the first year. I'd done some things and the teacher came over and looked at what I was doing and he bestowed upon me the honor of being the best Southern engineer he had ever seen. What the heck? Okay, I'm going to go turn on the welder. Now this isn't going to be something I'm just basically tack welding that thing through there. So I don't need a whole bunch of stuff. I think I'll lay that apron over my legs, put a helmet on, and go to town. All those guys in Pakistan welding sandals, and it's amazing what they do because they don't have anything better. Let's see if this will come over here. Heck, all their machines, they ground them to the whole dadgum thing. They don't have any wires except for the cable, and they weld a piece of metal going over to the machine and run it through the bearings and everything else. By putting the ground here, I'm not running through any of the bearings on the machine. It's a short path between the arc and this, so I think that's a pretty good way of doing it. Of course, their machines, who knows how long they last. I just can't walk very well with my balance being as it is, and my feet still hurt. But that's the way it's going to be for a while more longer. Now, better hurry up and do this before we get the thunderstorm and lose power. Now this helmet, I got a set of cheaters lenses in it, so I don't need my glasses. That screwed me up the other day. Okay. Whoops. that anymore. And I think I can do a better welding job down here with that clamp over there. And I might put another tack right there, and then we'll be through. Huh. Short of welding that to the bed, I think we're done. Don't need to do that welding to the bed stuff. I put new batteries in my helmet. Sure helped a lot. Oh, come on. Get wheels tied up in the straps and everything else. Okay. Let's see how I did. I got this piece locked down by the vise. So that's the only thing it's really touching, except for this. It may be touching a little bit. But I tacked it across there and then up here. And that should be pretty solid. Now I've got to go get some water and fill this thing up. Make sure the tank doesn't leak down there. This has been a good old saw. Bought it new. It was like $1,400 at the time. I have got my money's worth out of it. For years, I used one of the little 4-inch jet saws. And I went with a friend to buy him one, and it wasn't a jet brand. I mean, you can buy them for like $150, I think. They're just thrown together in some third world country. They work. You can make them do a lot of stuff. I just have bigger diameters things that I need to do. I'll be back. Now this is a synthetic that I've been using for a couple of years. I hear it going into the blue tank down there. And it's an all-purpose coolant. It's water soluble. This is probably going to take about 2 containers. Come on, let's go get some more. I'm having to steer my way back here. I'll show you the lid on it. Now there's some Q-Cool 350C. And it's a different one that a guy gave me one time when I bought a CNC machine, and I run that in there. But the one I've been running for this saw for years is Q-Cut 235. Now all these things give you is what they recommend for the percentage, and that's for the cutting and then machining or grinding and stuff. Well, I bet you that little bucket's lasted me nearly 10 years. I don't fill it up very often. We go get some water. That first bucket was about 25%. And so with this new water added, that'll bring it down to about 12%. Okay, I'm back. Went and got this. Now we have to back out of here. Is there enough room to turn the wheelchair around? This is about 3 upcoming projects I have on rebuilding machines. Well, I've got to get the strength up to do that. Since I've been going to the hospital, heck, help, I'm stuck. What am I stuck on now? Stuck on that red thing. There we go. Man, I'm having a hard time here. Get that brake off. Well, there's still a lot sitting there and not going into the tray. The reason I use that quick cut, is it doesn't let these surfaces like this rust so bad. I'll reach under here, take this out for right now. This piece of wire mesh that they cut into and pressed it into that and welded a nut onto it. And it's the strainer for it. Put it back under there. And we're going to wash this down with another bucket. I don't think that's going to overflow that blue bucket. It looked about a 2.5, 3 gallon bucket. It's kind of deep and segmented back there. I added a flap on top of it. That big hose comes from the table and goes down to that black disc. That's a piece. Gotta wait. Would you be quiet? I'm trying to talk here. Inconsiderate machine. Thank you. I want to see something weird. See that silver bubble wrap insulation, which don't ever put it on your shop. It was such a great idea. I thought, cheap, easy way to do this. Turns out, though, it's fallen down from my rafters. After it got so old, that aluminum foil just goes to nothing. May have to put foam up there. Okay, this has got a brand new sharp 6-tooth per inch belt or blade on it, only because that's the biggest one I use, teeth count. I gotta go back out here to the airport and turn around again. Put the bucket right there. And basically, get this out of the water trough. There's a cylinder there that controls the downward force, and I've got that valve off right now, and so it stays in one position. Let me put some electricity to this machine. Oh. Okay. Now I can turn the pump off independently of this, and I can buy a switch for it. But I'm going to turn this on, and this is the valve for the coolant. Oh, I don't know why I don't have coolant. Comes up this hose up to here. A little pump pumps it. See if the pump's on. I don't think it's on. Turn over here. Separate switch. This one, when this comes down and finishes, it hits that switch and trips it. Kind of a neat auto stop. Oh, this is not good. I don't hear the motor, don't feel any vibration from it. Oh boy. I undid the wiring out of that picker head to get that tank completely out. Let's see if I can do some troubleshooting here. I think once this is off, it turns off the coolant automatically, because I think it gets its power by flowing through there. And I never mess with it, so I don't know which way's on and which way's off. It's always something. Once again, I should have just left it alone. Be nice to the machine, give it new coolant, clean it up a bit, and this is how it repays you. We're going to have a brief intermission while I figure out what's going on. I highly suspect the wire connection in the pecker head got undone when I was trying to fit it all in there. But I don't want to take it out because we're fixing to have a power outage probably. I don't know, maybe not. Well, one thing's for sure, I got to take it, got to pull the tube out, and maybe I can swing it around in there. Let's see that. Okay. pulling a tube down from the top. That came out. Now I hear dripping. I'm going to let that settle for a while until I figure out. Here's a little plate I made for it to just take over the, instead of having a hole that big around for air to let my water evaporate through, now it's got nothing. It made it stay a lot longer. Well, that didn't take much to get it out to there. I've left it hooked up to this outflow, and this is electricity coming from that switch over there. And I had to take the pecker head to let everything loose. So I'm going to take it back off and make sure what I did isn't the cause of why it's not starting. It's a lot easier taking this apart for the second time. A, you know where all the screws are and what screwdriver they fit, and B, they're cleaned out so you can reach in there and hook onto it. Now if I could see where that screw was, it'd be even better. Occupational therapist has me doing stuff like this all the time, and it helped. And I find if I push hard against something with my hand, the tremors aren't as pronounced. It's kind of like they have a forward and reverse. Like when I'm pushing that, my hand's not in neutral like it is now, and the muscles don't have a couple of different positions to be in, you know. It's all either one or the other. Let's see. That looks to be okay. And what I did was put these two blue connections together. That's down here. For some reason, it may not be working. The ground wire pulled out of there. It was a crimp connection. I'm going to turn it on and see if by moving it around I did anything. There's an open shaft under there that I can put my finger on. And it's not turning around. Plug that one in and see if I can feel it. Then I'm through testing. I'm going to unplug the power to everything and see if possibly one of these two connections is wrong. Go get something. This is a little non-contact test light made by Kind Tools. When you turn it on, you see that green light comes on. That lets you know it's on. Then you can hold it down to a wire and see if it's got the red comes on. Now, this is in a kind of a bad place to test it. It's still doing red. Now I'm going to turn off that switch, and that'll at least tell me which position it's supposed to be in. Okay, see it's green. It means electricity is not getting there. If I flip the switch on, up is the position for on. And we're going to double check it. Yeah. So I know now that up is on. This thing's getting hot. I'm wondering there's just not enough water in it. Or cooling fluid. Let me go get some more. Turn this off before it gets so hot. I'm back. Did you miss me? Well, that drained all the way out to where I can't even see it. So maybe just biggest problem was couldn't get enough to prime itself. Now I can see a little line right there on the mesh filter. Let's turn it on and see if it works. I got a feeling it will. Just got to get over here to do it. Now, ordinarily, I would have just taken the 4 bolts to get that motor up. These back 2 bolts thread into what I assume is a stud inside, or not a stud, but a nut inside the plastic. The front 2 won't come out. I can turn them, but they just are stripped. So I just unplugged it here at the pecker head. Is it time to go ahead and completely destroy those? Huh. See if I can find some jumpers. I don't know where all my jumpers are. Been a while since I've been in this shop. Oh. I found one. For a while, I remembered I had a bunch of them on my gate trailer. I'm not able to do that anymore, so I gave it to my son because he's the only one I know that I can trust to take care of people. And he's done a very good job so far. He's got 4 kids now, so he's got to work his ass off. I told him I might come live with him now. All right. Just by any chance they got that motor wired weird. It's getting hot. So the next thing is, did I mess up something by blowing off a piece of chunk of sediment or something that's jammed the impellers on that pump? Can't get it off without destroying the nuts. Of course, I could reach in there and do them by hand because those are the closest to the front hole. That might not be a bad idea. I don't remember how wide this area is under here. I believe I'm turning the spindle. Yeah, now I am. I can see it moving up here in this little window. Y'all see? With this little window, and I'm reaching around in the gap here, and I can see that shaft. And that shaft, I got it spinning the right way. It's now a lot looser than it was. It's rotating free. So what do you want to bet that fixed it? Yeah, that did it. Got water everywhere coming. Apparently I got something jammed in it by washing it out real good. But now it's going to town. So let me unplug it and put this pecker head together and we'll get to cutting. Now during my therapy, they had this big board that had studs screwed into it of every size. It was all an inch. And then it had nuts on other ones surrounding it. And your chore was to find the right nut and put it on that bolt or stud and screw it down tight. Well, it was missing some of the nuts over the years. And I told the lady, go to the hardware store and get you a 1/4 by 28 for this one. And then this, she was going, how do you know that? As I've been working with them all my life. And so as I was doing what she wanted me to do to put the nuts on there, I was using tricks I'd learned all my life, like spinning the nut with the side of your finger. Or like when I use a screwdriver like just now, when the screwdriver's easy, you can take and turn on this barrel of it and go really fast, a lot faster than over here. And that makes, you got to do different finger movements and stuff. So I was doing it like this. She said, that's cheating. So she made me pick it up with 2 fingers and screw them on from then on. But it's funny how something really simple as a board with some studs can help your life get back to normal. My problem is getting the screwdriver in the slot now. I bounce around so much till I get it in there, and it's hard to do. Okay, that one's tight. Get one more. I got it in. There's no joke about that, but I can't tell the mixed company. Let's cut something, shall we? It's taken 4 days to get me to this point. Turned that off. So I didn't want to be leaking all over me. That was a good strong flow. Now, I think I've got it set by that little dial on top of the piston to go pretty slow. I don't know how slow. And this is a 6-inch piece of stock that is cutting. I got 6 teeth per inch. So that's quite a bit above what they recommend for teeth. Maybe a 2 tooth per inch would be better, but I don't have any. So we're just going to go slow and easy this way. The purpose of, if you use too fine a saw blade, even a hacksaw blade, the chips don't have any place to go because it fills up the little gullet between each tooth. So it won't cut after a while. So you got to have chip evacuation, and that's why going to the bigger tooth works. Now, if I kept that on this saw all the time, I'd be in trouble, because I usually have a variable one, 12 to 18 on it, just because I cut a lot of thin metals. You try to cut a thin metal with that, and it just gets in the gullet and stops it. So I'm going to put this over here out of the way, and I'm going to stand up for one more time. I think I can do it. Go down here, flip that hydraulic off, and see how slow this descends. It may even be a little too fast. This is not a big industrial saw. I'm going to turn that off and open it just a little bit. One of the things that I was hoping for by using a parting tool to go around that was to give the saw an easier first start guide, so that when it starts in the cut, hopefully it'll follow that around the piece of work. That's a 3/4 inch thick blade that's gone into the material pretty good. Got to get a little blades cleaner. A little wheel that was spinning is a wire brush, and it's designed to knock off the chips before they go past and get into the drive wheel. It's not doing a very good job. But we're doing a pretty good job going through that sucker. You got to be careful when you do stuff like parting off something. And one of the reasons that I didn't use this do-all horizontal saw with its hydraulic bed was this piece right here. I was cutting along on it, and it's got a 1-inch blade, and all of a sudden I noticed that this was going into a dome. So I turned it around to try to cut it off. I was making a pulley here, and shoot, there was so much pressure on that blade that it turned it sideways and was not going through the metal, it was going deeper into the metal like this. So it's a lesson I learned. Be very careful on how much force you give them. Like this one, it's going down about 1 3/4 from the outside diameter already. And it's got nice big chips coming up. Only problem is those chips have made a trip all the way around the belt, because that rotating wheel down there didn't do a lot of good. It's turning, but it's just worn out. See if I can get a new one. You know, get away from that so much. My body has changed dramatically after the shot. Before the shot, it was doing really good. I'd lost like 40 pounds and blood pressure was good, didn't have any pills, didn't have any pills for diabetes, everything was great. Afterwards, I'm back on high blood pressure medicine and a diabetes pill. But there's other changes that I noticed. Heat. Before, man, if I was out in the heat like I am now, of course, I got a little breeze coming through from this door, but it's at least 90 degrees in this shop, and I barely even sweat. I don't know if it destroyed all my sweat glands or what, but I can handle the heat better. The thing I'm not handling very well is the taste of food. About 50% of my food that I eat tastes like somebody poured a barrel of salt in it. Like last night, my wife made the box scallop potatoes that I love, the cheesy potatoes. I couldn't eat them. They were so salty. And she doesn't add any salt at all. It's all what came from the processors or how my mouth, my mouth should have known I loved it. Now, she also baked me a cherry pie. And I can tell you, that tastes good. Anything sweet tastes normal. But any, like, what do they call it? Comfort food or savory food, most of it's just salt. Well, we're getting down into about a 1/2 inch or 1 inch away from the center of that piece. So I've got more time to talk. People ask me where Don is. Well, Don's doing fine. He's been doing a lot of projects around his place. He doesn't like to film. It's too much trouble. But he's doing all right. As soon as I stop going to the hospital, being where all the sick people are, I'll feel a little bit better about being around him. I know you ain't going to get GBS from me. Of course, the doctors don't know what the hell causes it in the first place, but they know it's not contagious. So we'll get to doing more films together. Got so many projects he could help me with. The truck needs washed, yard needs mowed. Had to hire a company to come do the lawn because can't do it like we could. This is going much better than I expected. Of course, I'm sitting over here looking at it. I don't know if it's cutting straight or not until I get over there and stand up and look down it. I'm hoping my little groove that I made in it is helping it find its path a little easier. Got to find me one of those wheels, wire wheels to go on there. They still make these, so I should be able to find them. In fact, I got something the other day. I found a company that rebuilds machines, and they had Hartigan corks on their page, and I asked them if it was the same one that fit Bob. And he said, yes, but it's better off just ordering from Hartigan. And Hartigan does have them in stock. The cork is a brake pad for the spindle. And it's got a electric hydraulic cylinder that is actuated when you turn off the spindle. You can also turn that off if you don't want it to, but it doesn't matter on mine. It doesn't have the pad in there very much anyway. Pads wear out. They get old and brittle. So I went there, and sure enough, they had them, but they wanted to charge me $31 in freight for two little bitty corks that fit in a big wine glass bottle. So I sent them a note, and the lady wrote me back the next day very nicely and said that the credit card doesn't get charged until the actual shipping's done. So I said, great. So that was nice of them to do that. Don't let them scare you, or don't let the website scare you try to order parts. She laughed when I told her why the lathe was called Bob. Well, I think we're down about halfway, and it's worth me standing up to see if I can do something. Thought I saw some chip brushes over in this mess. Can't go around the back side of this table. And the middle's too far to go. This becomes a very nice horizontal surface. Oh, I'm not going to do this again. There's the next victim right there. We put it on casters. No, it doesn't have feet, so it can walk off. There's some chip brushes. That's what I'm making to put the output shaft, which is there. I'm going to just weld this steel disc to it, turn it into the 6-inch base for the vise I got for it, and we'll be in good shape. This is sore. Oh God, my legs. Oh shit. Looks like it's going off to the side. And I don't want all that work to go to waste. So I got to change this a little bit. That ain't going to work. I'm going to run out of space. It'll be too thin by the time it gets done. See how it's gone out down there? Should have launched sooner. Oh, y'all sit up here. What I'm going to do is kick the side of this piece around. Damn, I could have caught that earlier. It's still okay if I just get it over. How are you going to do that, Steve? I'm going to take a hammer. And I'm going to hit this piece right here. I'll loosen it up a little bit. Every time I clamp it down, it wants to kick this way. So I need to put a shim in there somehow. What have I got this shim?